That's how we know, right?
Yep,
Sure.
yep.
Hey, so stained glass, man. Listen, TexarkanaFYI.com. Downtown, this church, St. James, one of the oldest churches in Texarkana,
Organized 1876.
1876 when they put this together. And such a huge project going. If you haven't met Father David Halt, how long have you been here now?
I'm in my 5th year, actually.
Yeah, so if you haven't met him yet or been down to St. James, we're going to take a look inside. They are replacing stained glass windows, over 100-year-old stained glass windows. And Mr. Stanton, was it
Jordan.
Jordan Stanton, Stanton Studios. Tell us, how did you get into stained glass restoration?
Well, that was a product of my dad. He started the business back in 1979, and we've been doing window restoration since I can remember.
Yeah,
I grew up around it, and then I officially started working, I think, back in 2006 doing stained glass restoration, and we've done hundreds and hundreds of windows.
And we're going to we'll take the camera out here in a minute. Look, we're in the what do you call this?
This is the chapel.
Yeah, we're kind of underground, and you've done a lot of work in here too, though.
Yeah, we've revitalized this area as a prayer space, a place for midweek services. Really neat. We thick plaster. We took all the plaster off, kind of made the Roman catechism and catacomb feel.
You got all the archangels here and the stained glass in this room, but so 100 years old. Stanton Studios in Waco, right?
Correct.
You're one of the only people in the country that does both restoration, creation, really focused on everything stained glass.
Right. Yeah. I don't know the exact number of studios nationwide, but it's less than 100 that do what we do.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Divide that by the states, that's 2 a state.
Yeah, but it's you. I mean, this job that you've done is phenomenal, and you'll see this here in just a second. But how long did it? From the time you removed the glass here at St. James, how long did it take to go through the process of the restoration?
I believe it's been about 8 months.
8 months.
Yes, sir.
What's involved?
So from the time we take it out, we bring it back to our studio, document, take photos. We make what's called a gravestone rubbing, where you put a piece of paper over the window. You can take many different things, but some graphite, or in our case, a piece of tar paper, and rub the window, and that will give you the impression of the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then the window is disassembled, which means we take all the glass and lead, separate it.
So you take it completely
fully
apart.
Yeah, it's like taking a puzzle all the way apart.
And you see how many parts just in these little
There's
ones.
hundreds. There's hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we recycle the lead, wash the glass, mend any broken pieces. We edge glue some broken pieces with a museum grade epoxy. If there's a piece that's missing or damaged beyond repair, we'll replicate it with our in-studio artist. Then once all the glass is ready to go, we re-lead the window, re-grout the window, let that grout sit for a couple weeks to firm up, re-wind brace it, and then
It's a lot.
get it ready for reinstall.
Yeah, it's huge, but it's going to be another 100 years before you even
Correct.
think about it, right?
Right, yeah.
So yeah, that's
With
good
proper
to know.
window maintenance, a leaded glass window in Texas is
Now
100 years, roughly.
the glass that you're replacing is above the altar upstairs, and so it was you said it had a lot of smoke, not
Yeah.
damage, but what I don't know what else to call it. It had a lot of smoke on it,
Right.
soot.
Correct. Yeah, I believe.
Is that-
Did y'all have gas
There was
originally?
gas lighting in here, the beeswax candles, the oil candles over the last 100 years. That lower level just was incredible.
Just kinda-
So, yeah, it just naturally builds up over time.
Mhm.
And then attempting cleanings sometimes damage windows. I think we ran into that with this for someone, however many decades ago. Wasn't anybody recent that tried to clean it with ammonia. And that actually did some damage to some of the side glass as well.
Is that right? So you can't clean. You don't clean with ammonia,
Correct.
stained glass in general.
That's correct. It just interacts with the lead and causes corrosion and so forth.
So you see that? I mean, there's so much more to it. I mean, something as simple as just using the wrong Windex color cleaner could ruin it. And we're not talking, running down to Lowe's and getting some replacement right quick, are we?
No.
8 months to
No.
put together something already made. So,
Right.
but how many of these do you do in a year, would you say?
It depends year to year. There's always the balance between new work and restoration work. It's several hundred square feet or 1,000 square feet. It's quite a bit. We have a team of about 13 employees, and so we've got anywhere between 30 to 50 projects of various sizes and scale.
Now, I know you've got the crane outside and everybody getting in place. How long is it going to take to actually put the glass in?
Ideally, less than 2 hours. All the hard work's done up front.
Is that
So
right?
if you do all,
So now
if
it's
you do
just
all
a
your
fingers
work-
crossed and be very
Yeah,
careful.
We've taken our measurements. So we've got the frames here. You never know how out of square something might be. Old buildings are notoriously
I was
out of
fixing to say,
square.
when you're talking
So-
about centuries old, so
right.
I was laughing because when he took this window out, we discovered there are places where it was triple and double laminated.
Mm-hmm.
And after this period of time of the damage to the lead, it was a lead weekend, watching them get it out so carefully because it wanted to fold double on them. And so it was nail biting for me, but they
Yeah.
had it and it was awesome to watch. What a great process.
listen, one of the most beautiful churches you're going to see, one of the most beautiful churches in Texarkana for sure, but come take a look at St. James if you haven't been down here. Check out the stained glass. Check out the stained glass at your church. I mean, I was listening earlier and kind of overhearing what was going on, and it's just, there's so much more to it than you could. I mean, I know it's art. I know it's, but my gosh, I didn't realize it was that complicated.
And each one tells a story.
Yeah.
Each window tells a story. That's important in our tradition, that you can learn so much of your scriptures, the story of Christ, just through looking at the windows.
Yeah, and so if someone came down and wanted to do a St. James stained glass tour,
Call me,
Yeah.
talk to the office, we can make it happen.
there you go. See, there you go. Let's go take a look outside and see what's going on.
He left you in the heat. So right
A
now,
lot of work going on over here at the Ace of Clubs house too. They've been doing a ton of work to get that renovated. But you can see up here, they are in the process of replacing the stained glass here at St. James Church.
so those were the old protective covers that he's pulling off. They were actually plexiglass, and they just put those up while the window was gone.
A beautiful church, St. James, downtown Texarkana, 1876, Father Halt, is that right?
That's when the congregation was formed. This building dates from 1927 and replaced an earlier building.
My goodness, and it's beautiful. Take a look at this church.
The east and west end windows are original. They predate this building. They were in the old building. These all were put in.
Tell us,
on
you
the
were
sides.
telling me about these windows here on the side, the work that you were able to avoid major.
Right. We were able to avoid major work on these. They've all been reglazed, but they did not have to be re-leaded. We were able to protect them and vent them to the inside to protect that lead for years to come, generations to come. The west window, the Ascension window, was fully rebuilt by Stanton as well. That was the first one to come out.
My goodness, they do good work.
They really do. They really do.
And who's the crew we got working up
Crew
here?
behind us is Heritage Stained Glass. They're out of the Waco area as well. They've done all the protection work,
So
all the
working in
reglazing and
conjunction with
repainting.
Stanton Studio.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
gotcha.
sir. They've been great to work with.
But yeah, those are the windows that we'll be replacing right there. So later this evening, you're going to have stained glass.
Absolutely.
But do come down. I think that's neat. And I know you're busy today, so I'm not going to try to weasel in. But I do want to come, and I want to hear about each
Absolutely
window.
do.
I
Anytime.
really
We can do that.
But do come down and check out this gorgeous church in downtown Texarkana, right across from the Federal Building. Everyone's seen the outside, which you have done so much out there as well.
Thank you. Thank you. We've really worked hard at doing the maintenance that needs to be done to preserve our building as a jewel of downtown for generations to come.
Well, it's beautiful. So thank you, Father Halt, for having us and giving us a little tour and telling us so much that we didn't know.
I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so
And
much.
Mr.